All right. We're going to hop right into this lesson. As always, I want to give a brief disclaimer. Today, we're going to be talking about buying versus selling. And that is pretty much what Forex is. It's the buying and selling of currencies. And so in this lesson, I'm going to help you get a better understanding of how trading works and how the market actually moves. So when you are buying, you are bullish, or you may hear people say that you are going long. And when you are selling, you are in the bearish market, or you are bearish on your bias, and you would be shorting the market or selling. So those things can be used interchangeably. So just keep that in mind. You definitely want to know that lingo. So if you're listening to other mentors and people on YouTube, you may hear them say that they're going long or they're going short. And it's important for you to know that going long is bullish or buying, and going short is bearish or selling. So the bulls are considered to be the buyers, and the bears are considered to be the sellers. And they are consistently trying to drive the price of that currency pair in their favor. So your job as a trader is to make an informed decision on who you believe is going to be in control and place your trade in that particular direction. Now, we do not predict the market. We just simply react to what the charts are telling us that we actually need to do. And so I'm going to hop in and talk about what actually causes the market to move. So us as retail traders, we do not have enough buying power to actually move the market. So the main mover of the market is the central banks. When the important news comes out, that's typically where you will see a lot of volatility in the market. The central bank boards, they typically meet a few times a year, and they decide on the rates, the interest rates, the different, the financial rates of the market. So they negotiate whether it's going to raise, if the rates are going to go higher, if it's going to go lower, or if it's going to stay the same. So typically when that comes out, there's a lot of volatility and movement in the market. Now, another thing that definitely has a huge effect on the market is the unemployment rate. So you'll see on the first Friday of every month, there is a report that is released called the NFP, or the non-farm payroll. So the U.S. Bureau of Labor, they actually release these reports to the public. You can go to forexfactory.com, and you'll be able to see those reports on the first Friday of every month. And depending on if their anticipation is higher or lower, that's going to determine what the fluctuation in the market is going to look like. The next thing that moves the market is economic growth. So each quarter, the GDP is released, which is going to actually indicate the overall strength of an economy. So if the United States economy is struggling, then you will see the pairs that are, that have USD as the base currency, those are going to drop. And we're going to get into base and quote currency so that you can get a better understanding of that. But I want you to also understand what actually moves the market and where you fit in that equation. So the next thing that actually has a huge effect on the movement of the market is inflation. So every month the CPI comes out, which is the Consumer Price Index reports, and these are made public, and it's just going to basically share the change in the standard goods and services that we use on a regular basis. So that is something that is very important too, because the cost of inflation is going to determine, of course, the movement of the market. And then it's also going to really affect the way that gold moves as well, because gold is considered to be like a safe haven. So when people are panicking or they are worried about the economic strength of the, currency or the economy, they tend to buy gold, especially in the US. Like when people are worried about the dollar losing its strength, then they tend to use gold as a safe haven. Now, if you are a new trader, I do not recommend that you trade gold because it is a very volatile pair. And if you don't have the capital to withstand the drawdown of that pair, then it can wipe out your account pretty quickly if you have a small account. So I don't recommend trading gold unless you have a couple of $1,000s to start with in your account. Retail sales, it is definitely a mover of the market, because when consumers feel safe or they feel like the economy is in a good place, they tend to spend more, which leads to, of course, the strengthening of that particular economy. So, as I said before, short means sell and long means buy. That's something that you definitely want to make sure that you get ingrained in your mind, so that you are remembering those terms when you actually hear them. And so when you go short on a pair, you are going to be selling that currency. So I talked about in the previous modules about trend lines and support and resistance and things like that. So when you analyze the market and you determine that the market is in a downtrend, that is when you want to sell or short the market. Now, how long you're going to stay in that trade is going to depend on what type of trader that you are. If you are a scalper, then it's going to depend. That's going to depend on the time frame. Like this chart here that you see on the screen is actually a weekly chart. So this would be something that a swing trader would look at to see what the overall bias is. And if you're a scalper, then of course you would go down to a lower time frame in order to find your entry points and your exits. Like I said, the long is just the opposite, where you are looking for uptrends in the market and you are buying that particular currency pair. So when the market is overbought or oversold, that is also a clear indication of when you can get in and out of a trade. I know people have been asking me about strategies and all of that, but knowing a strategy is not going to help you if you don't understand the foundational structure of how the market moves and what causes the market to actually move in a certain direction. So there are certain indicators. I always tell you guys that I am a naked trader, which means that I don't use a lot of indicators and things on my charts when I'm trading. I have a clear naked chart like what you see up on the screen, but sometimes you do want to use indicators as a confluence or a confirmation to make sure that your decision or your bias is correct. And so there is an indicator called the relative strength indicator, or you may hear traders refer to it as the RSI. So the RSI is going to tell you whether the market is overbought or oversold. So you'll see here, I've marked it up. This is a screenshot of a live chart that I took from the market, where you can see where when the price on the RSI is in this area, which would be like above 70. So on the chart, you would see like a 70 here, a 30 here. So anything 70 and above on the RSI, the relative strength index or the relative strength indicator, is going to mean that the market is overbought. And that is a clear indication that you need to be looking for sell positions. When you see it in an oversold position, that is a clear indication that the market, there's more sellers in the market than it should be, and that the price or the direction of the market is about to change. So all of these things are critical to knowing when establishing your own strategy, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to get the information that I'm sharing here in this course, and you're going to develop your own strategy, because your strategy is going to be different from any other trader, because it's going to depend on what pairs you're trading. It's going to depend on what time of day that you're trading. And it's also going to, of course, depend on the current market, the current market movement. So all of those things are going to come into play when developing your own strategy. Now, I can give you tips and, different criteria that you can use, but the overall strategy is going to be something that you curate yourself based on your trading style and your trading appetite and your account size. So different strategies are going to depend on all of those different factors. So here it says the market has reached its limit of buyers. Price is becoming too high. Best time to sell. So when you see the RSI in an oversold position, that lets you know that it is the best time that, in an overbought position, you want to sell. And the opposite is true for when it is oversold. So, like I said before, you can use the relative strength indicator as a confluence. For high probability trades, always trade with the trend. So here I marked up a chart. I'm showing you the arrows on the chart as well as how it correlates with the RSI as well. So when you see the market moving up, the RSI should be moving in that same direction. And when it's not, when it's going in the opposite direction, that is considered to be divergence in the market. And we will get into that in a later lesson, because I don't want to confuse you. I just want to give you the basics right now so that you can start analyzing the market for yourself and start making some trade decisions. So you always want to trade with the trend. So again, this is a weekly chart. So for several weeks, we were in an uptrend market. And then at this point, there was a reversal or a retracement in the market. So that is literally all you're doing when you're trading. You're looking for patterns in the market and you're following those trends. And then you're looking for chart patterns, candlestick patterns, and confluences to tell you when to enter and exit the market, which we will definitely be getting into that so that you can start understanding what those indicators are for when you need to get in and out of the market. So here I have a chart where I'm showing you some clear indications of where you would look for sell positions. So in the market, you're going to be looking for higher highs, lower lows, lower highs. So that's literally all it is. Trading is very simple, but I'm not going to say that it's easy, because you have to train your eye to really know what to look for in the charts in order for you to get comfortable on when to buy and when to sell. So as I have pointed out here, these engulfing candles are clear indications, and these higher highs, lower lows and lower highs in the market is clear indications of where we would sell. So this is what you want to train your eyes to look for in the market to know when to look for a sell position. And the opposite is true for buy positions. You're looking for, like right here, this would be a clear indication that you would need to buy. This is a clear indication that the market is going up and that you would need to buy. But if you're looking at the market and this is what you see, this is considered to be a ranging market. and you do not want to enter any trades during that time. You want to wait and you want to see what type of reaction that the market is going to have after that range or that consolidation has ended. And so the market is only going to go in three directions. It's going up, it's going side to side, or it's going down. And so you're literally looking for those indicators of, okay, this is a clear indication that the market is going to go up. This is a clear indication that the market is going to go down. And you want to have about three, at least a minimum of three confluences or confirmations that the market is moving in the direction that you are anticipating that it will. And so in the future modules, I'm going to go over some other indicators that you can use, some other like different things that you can look for to let you know that your, bias or your decision that you're making as far as whether to buy or sell is correct. But you never ever want to get into a ranging market, because that basically traps you in, and you're going to be on an emotional roller coaster because the price is just going to basically be bouncing up and down in between a certain price range, but it's not going to be any real movement. If you look at these candles here, we talked about before the doji candles and how they mean that there's indecision in the market. So if there's indecision in the market, you should have indecision too, and you shouldn't be in the market. So when you see that there's little to no momentum, you don't want to get in a trade. This is where you would see a lot of momentum because of the size of these candlesticks, and that would let you know that you're on the right side of the market. When the candlesticks get smaller, that is an indicator that you need to be exiting your trade, that if you're in a buy, the buyers are losing momentum, and that the market is about to go into a range. You'll see right here, the market start to pick up momentum, and then this would have been a great time to sell, and then you would catch this trade on the upside because of this large engulfing candle that lets you know that price is more than likely going to continue to the upside. So that's all you're looking for as far as when to buy and when to sell in the market. So we're going to recap, and then I'm going to hop into the next module. So we talked about how the market is moved. We talked about how to identify a trend, when to buy and when to sell. So what I want you guys to do after each lesson, I'm going to start giving you an assignment. This is just to help you get comfortable. Whether you do it or not is totally up to you. But I believe that if you complete the exercises and you start to do some back testing on a live chart, it will help you bring together the information that you're learning inside of the lessons. And it'll also give you questions that you can ask when you show up on the live sessions that we have. So on TradingView, I want you to actually identify a place in the market where you would buy on a 4-hour chart. I want you to pull up a 4-hour chart. It can be any pair of your choice. And then also I want you to identify a place where you would actually sell on a 4-hour chart. And I want you to actually screenshot those, and I want you to paste them below this lesson.